I was standing in the middle of a crowded London station, clutching a notebook filled with 3,000 vocabulary words, and suddenly I realized I couldn't even ask where the bathroom was without shaking. Welcome to Speak English with Luna. Today, we are stopping the madness of endless lists and starting the journey of real speaking using the 80-20 rule. Julian, you've seen this notebook trap before, haven't you?
Oh, 1,000 times, Luna. It's what I call the fluency paradox. I once worked with an engineer who could read complex medical journals in English, but the moment he had to order a pizza over the phone, his mind went completely blank. He was spending 80% of his time studying words he would never actually say. He was exhausted, but he wasn't moving forward. It's heartbreaking because these students are the hardest workers, yet they feel like failures.
It's because lists feel safe, right? They feel like real work. But today, we're going to prove that doing less is actually the secret to saying more. Julian, let's get right into it. Why do we choose the hard way when the 80-20 rule is right in front of us?
Because our brains love the illusion of progress, Luna. Checking a box on a list feels like winning, even if those words stay dead on the paper.
Okay, Julian, let's get practical. For everyone listening right now who is tired of carrying around heavy dictionaries, what exactly is the 80-20 rule or the Pareto principle when it comes to speaking English? How do we stop the studying and start the doing?
It's actually very simple but very powerful, Luna. The principle says that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. In English, this means that about 3,000 core words make up 95% of daily conversation. Think about it like your clothes. You probably have a big closet full of outfits, but you wear the same favorite jeans and t-shirts 80% of the time, right?
Guilty as charged. I have a leather jacket I haven't touched in 3 years, but I wear my favorite hoodie every single day.
Exactly. Language is the same. Instead of memorizing words like ornithology or phenomenon, you should master the power words, the verbs and connectors that let you build 1,000 different sentences. If you master that 20%, you unlock the ability to speak about almost anything. You don't need to be a walking dictionary to be a great communicator.
I love that. It's about being effective, not just busy. Okay, let's do our first vocabulary checkpoint. Pay attention to these 3 terms. High frequency, which means things that happen often. Core, which means the most important central part of something. And mastery, which is having complete control or skill.
Those are the keys to the kingdom, Luna.
Before we continue, I want to hear from you. Stop the audio for a second or go to the comments. Tell me, what is the most useless or rare word you spent hours memorizing that you have never used in a real conversation? We want to see those words that are just taking up space in your brain. We are diving into the deep waters now, Julian. This is the part of the show where we reward our listeners who are ready to cross that bridge from just getting by to actually feeling like themselves in English. We call this the intermediate plateau, don't we? That frustrating place where you feel like you're running in place but going nowhere.
That is exactly what it is, Luna. It's a psychological hurdle. You see, at the B1 level, you have enough English to survive. You can buy bread, you can check into a hotel, and you can tell someone your name. Because the pressure to survive is gone, the brain becomes lazy. It says, hey, we are safe, why work harder? To move to B2 and beyond, you have to stop collecting and start implementing.
Stop collecting. That reminds me of something you mentioned earlier. You called it the collector's fallacy. Can you explain that concept? Because I think many of our listeners are collectors without even knowing it.
It's a term popularized by thinkers like Tiago Forte. The collector's fallacy is the mistaken belief that collecting information is the same thing as acquiring knowledge. In the context of English, it's that feeling of, I have 50 PDF books on grammar, or I have saved 300 TikTok videos about phrasal verbs. You feel like you are learning because you are accumulating resources. But until you use that information to express a unique thought, it's just digital dust.
Wow, digital dust. That hits home. I remember having folders full of useful phrases that I never once whispered out loud. So, how do we break this cycle? How does the 80-20 rule help someone who feels overwhelmed by the sheer volume of the English language?
You have to identify your high-leverage situations. Let me tell you a story about a student of mine named Marcus. Marcus was a brilliant software architect from Brazil. He was at a B2 level technically, but he felt like a child during business meetings. He spent 3 hours every night studying advanced academic vocabulary, words like nevertheless, henceforth, and subsequently.
Oh, no. Let me guess. He never used them.
Never. Not once. In a fast-paced tech meeting, nobody says henceforth. They say from now on or going forward. I told him to stop studying grammar books and focus on the 20% of the language that happens in his specific meetings. We analyzed his world. We found that he spent 80% of his time doing 3 things: explaining a problem, asking for a deadline, and agreeing with a colleague.
So, instead of 10,000 words, he only needed to master the phrases for those 3 specific actions?
Exactly. We narrowed his focus down to about 50 power phrases. We practiced them until they were part of his muscle memory. Within 3 weeks, his boss asked him if he had taken an intensive immersion course. He hadn't. He had just stopped being a collector and started being a specialist in his own life.
This is a huge shift in mindset. It's moving from receptive vocabulary, words you understand when you hear them, to productive vocabulary, words you can actually use in the heat of the moment. Julian, for someone listening right now who feels stuck, what is the first step to activating that 20%?
The first step is what I call the island strategy. Imagine the English language is a vast, terrifying ocean. If you try to swim everywhere, you will drown. Instead, build small islands of fluency. An island is a topic you know perfectly. Maybe your island is my job. Maybe another island is my weekend hobbies. You master every word and sentence structure for that specific island. When you are on your island, you are 100% fluent. Then you build a bridge to the next island.
That makes it feel so much more manageable. You don't have to conquer the whole ocean at once. You just need a few solid islands where you feel safe. But Julian, what about the fear of being simple? I think a lot of B2 learners feel that if they use simple words, people will think they aren't smart.
That is the biggest lie in language learning, Luna. Real sophistication is the ability to explain complex ideas with simple, clear language. Think about the most successful leaders in the world. They don't use fancy words to confuse people. They use precise words to connect with them. To reach C1, you're not just looking for more words. You're looking for the right words to be as pithy and impactful as possible. It's about precision.
Exactly. It's moving from noise to signal. Now, listeners, it's time for our community challenge. This is where we stop being passive observers and start being active practitioners. I want you to try the 60-second simplicity challenge.
Here's how it works. I want you to choose a complex topic you are passionate about. Maybe it's your career, a political issue, or a deep philosophical belief. Now, I want you to record a voice note explaining that topic to a 10-year-old. You must avoid all big words, no jargon, no pretentious phrasing.
The goal is to see if you can be cogent and pithy while using only that 20% core vocabulary we talked about. Upload your audio or write your summary in our community group with the hashtag Pithy Challenge. Julian and I will be looking for the most clear and impactful entries. It's actually much harder to be simple than it is to be complex, isn't it, Julian?
It is the ultimate test of true mastery, Luna. Anyone can hide behind a dictionary, but it takes a master to stand naked with just a few simple words and still be understood perfectly.
It's time for the word tour. We're going to move fast and recap 5 key terms to move you from a collector to a master speaker. Julian, let's see if we can make these stick.
I'm ready, Luna. Let's give them the tools they need.
First up, high frequency. These are the words that do the heavy lifting in every conversation. Example, instead of learning the word osculate, just stick to the high frequency word kiss.
Number 2, core, the essential center. Example, focus on your core vocabulary, the words that actually matter for your specific job or life.
Number 3, pithy, brief and powerful. Example, Less is more is a very pithy way to describe our entire episode today.
Number 4, cogent. Clear, logical, and easy to follow. You don't need fancy jargon to give a cogent presentation that everyone understands.
And finally, resonance, a deep, lasting impact. Example, when you speak from the heart using simple words, your message has true resonance.
Master these 5, and you'll see your confidence skyrocket.
Julian, thank you so much for opening our eyes to the power of the 80-20 rule. It's such a profound relief to know we can actually do less and achieve more.
My pleasure, Luna. Just remember, fluency is not a library you build, it's a muscle you use. Don't wait for perfection. Go out there and use your 20% today.
You heard him. Stop collecting and start connecting. Try the pithy challenge and share this episode with one friend who is stuck in the notebook trap. I'm Luna, and this was Julian. Keep speaking, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode of Speak English with Luna. Bye for now.